Search FM.
Vice Chancellor's last day in office.
A very good. For the last couple of days, should we say the last few weeks, it's been a period of transition right here at this great institution, with the handing over of the baton from the outgoing Vice Chancellor, Professor Abdullahi Bala, to the incoming Vice Chancellor, Professor Adamu Kucha. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, Professor Bala.
Thank you.
So let's just get right into the questions.
Yes.
In broad strokes, how would you describe your experience as the Vice Chancellor of FUT Minna?
Thank you very much for the question. I will say that the 5 years have been very challenging. There is no doubt about that, especially with the fact that we had to contend with the COVID-19 lockdown back in 2020, and then the protracted ASU strike in 2020 and 2022. But having said that, I feel very fulfilled, very gratified, and we thank God that we've been able to overcome many of the challenges, and we've been able to achieve some measurable level of success in moving the university forward.
Okay, before we go further, if you'd like to send good wishes to the Vice Chancellor, you can send an SMS to 0706 8826 287. I'll take that again, 0706 8826 287. Now, Prof, following your appointment as the 7th substantive Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Technology in 2017, yes, you must have had an agenda, a plan of action on how you were going to achieve set objectives. Now, if you were expected to, or let's go, were you expecting to be rated as high as you were, as the Committee Performance Evaluation, Publication and Documentation rated your administration in this regard?
Well, I don't want to sound immodest, but I knew right from day one that I was going to put in my best. I was going to work very hard. I was going to be committed, and I was going to go all out in trying to meet the objectives I set out for myself. And because of that, I had no doubt in my mind that my performance in the end, I would expect that it would be above average. And therefore, I was highly gratified to know that I've been rated that high.
Okay, well, that's great to hear. Now, you mentioned earlier about one of the challenges that your administration faced, which was the COVID-19 lockdown. Now, that was a very unique set of circumstances. Nobody had faced, at least not in the last century, had faced circumstances on that scale before. And you and your management were faced with this very unique set of circumstances.
Yes.
So how are you able to steer the ship during that period, rather?
Now, you see, the problem was not only the COVID-19. COVID-19 came and coincided with an ASU strike. And so we knew that we had to stand up to the occasion, the challenge, but there was no way we would be able to do that without involving the university community. And when you have a large segment of the community now being on strike, that was a serious challenge, because we needed, especially the technologists, the scientists, to go back to their workshops, go back into the laboratory, and try to bring out certain innovations that will help in alleviating the impact of COVID-19. So it was a bit problematic. We wanted to respond to the challenge of bringing in students into the classroom by developing digital infrastructure to allow for online learning. But you cannot do that without the involvement of the academic staff. So these are unique challenges. But we are lucky that some of the staff, in spite of the strike, were willing and ready to work with us. And that allowed us to get quite a number of staff going in, manufacturing sanitizers, manufacturing face masks, collaborating with other institutes, AFIT, Air Force Institute of Technology and ABU's area, to get a respirator, so a ventilator. And so we were highly gratified that at least some of our staff, in spite of the need for them to be on strike, were able to mobilize, and then they came in. And so we were able to overcome some of these challenges. But in terms of the online learning, it wasn't possible because we were able to have software platforms for the online learning, but we needed to train our staff for them to be able to deploy their curriculum online. But because they were on strike, they wouldn't come even for the training. And so there was nothing we could do. And we just had to wait until after the strike.
Okay, so from your experience as the Vice Chancellor, what would you say is the blueprint for an effective running of a tertiary institution?
Oh, well, I think the blueprint, there may be a general kind of blueprint, but at the end of the day, it has to be specific to the needs of the environment it finds itself. For FUT Minna, for example, we have a unique set of staff that have shown responsiveness and responsibility, and so it makes it easier for us to do certain things than maybe some of my other colleagues from other universities, because sometimes when we share experiences, the kinds of horror stories I hear from other campuses, we don't have them here. But generally, whoever is going to be the Vice Chancellor of the university must be knowledgeable of the laws, the norms, the conventions, so that you don't go breaching those laws. You must be somebody that is large-hearted. You should be able to, ignore whatever may be thrown at you in a negative sense. Try to carry everybody along. You should be able to identify talents, people who will do the job, because you can't do everything. And if you are able to do that, then you can put them in the right place. You know, round pegs and round holes. If you're able to get such people, the convocation we had in February 2022, I mean, to me, it was the climax of all of the things we had been working on for 4 years before then. And everything seemed to just fall in place. We were able to commission about 23 projects at a go. We were able to bring high-profile individuals. And to me, I think, that particular moment was a glorious moment for the university. So if I should point out at one thing, perhaps I will point out at that one.
Okay, so we've spoken about a high now. Let's go to a low. What would you say was a major challenge that you faced during your time, and how did you find your way around it?
Well, major challenges have come in different ways. And I must say that I was lucky. We wouldn't have something that was that so bad as to bring us down. Usually, when you want to do something and you are not able to do it, of course, it's a challenge. But to me, the lowest moments usually during my tenure are when I get to hear about the death of a staff, the death of a student. That usually weighs me down. That could be very, very devastating, especially with respect to some of the staff that we know have been, doing marvelous, wonderful jobs within the system. And to hear that suddenly that person is no more, it could be very devastating.
So, in terms of management-student interaction during your tenure, what would you say will be your proudest moment? What were your proudest moments?
For the students, maybe yesterday, because yesterday there was a dinner organized in my honor by the council of this university, and the students came out in their large number to celebrate with me, and you could see that they were truly, truly in high spirit. I think the other one was when the students joined us during the last week, Wednesday. They came into Senate to give me an award in front of my colleagues in Senate. It was unprecedented. It has never happened. And I think these two moments, I will hold them dear.
Okay, so what would be your retrospective overview of management's relationship with the university's host communities during your term?
I would say that the relationship was very good compared to previous years before we came in. We have had very good relationships, and I was lucky to have a very matured Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Udensi, because that office is responsible for the campus community relationships. And so he has been able to very easily and seamlessly engage members of the host community. The Emir was here for the inauguration of the new Vice Chancellor. It has been quite a while that the Emir visited FUT Minna, just to show you that the relationship has been much better than before.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Bala. We'll take a breather now, just to catch our breaths. But of course, you can, this show, this program, this interaction with the outgoing Vice Chancellor, Professor Abdullahi Bala, still comes up just after this break.
Vice Chancellor's last day in office. Vice Chancellor's last day in office.
We support our students in every sphere of activity. We are cognizant of the fact that our students have skills that go beyond what is taught in the classroom. We are very much interested in building students' passion and their skills so that by the time they are leaving this place, they are able to beat their chest to say that they have a business of their own.
Join us live this Friday, 2nd December 2022 at 3 p.m. as we interact with the outgoing Vice Chancellor, FUT Minna, Professor Abdullahi Bala, on his last day in office. The VC's last day in office.
Vice Chancellor's last day in office.
Back to the interaction with the outgoing Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Technology, Professor Abdullahi Bala. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you.
I called for, if you are really interested in sending a goodwill message to the outgoing Vice Chancellor, you can send an SMS to 0706 8826 287. He's here with us at the MBB House, and so we will deliver your message to him live and direct in person. Prof, now, undoubtedly, you're leaving a huge number of flagship programs such as the Student Support Service Unit and One Department, One Product Initiative, amongst a lot of others. Now, how confident are you that these laudable legacies will be sustained even as you leave office?
Thank you. I'm confident that they are sustainable because in the first place, they came out of needs of the university community. And the person that is taking over the mantle of leadership was part and parcel of management that took these decisions. So I have no doubt that he will continue along that direction in my departure. There are others, but for those ones, we have done our best. Many of the things we said we'll do, we have done them. The one thing that we've not been able to do is to increase on the academic and technology cadre staffing, because all of a sudden we have a new policy by government. For you to recruit, you have to get approvals from head of service, from federal character, from budget office. And we applied to the head of service as far back as April this year. We have not even gotten even a reply. And we know that the document had reached the head of service. So these things are a bit unnerving because every day we have staff leaving the university, maybe because of retirement, because of death, because of resignation. And we need to replace these positions. And government is not giving us an opportunity to replace them. And that is making some of the programs to become threatened because of the low number of staff. So to me, these are areas I feel that we could do better. And I hope that the new Vice Chancellor will be able to find a way of overcoming this challenge.
So with all of the events that have been held in your honor over the last couple of weeks, I'm sure this question has been thrown to you numerous times. So Professor Bala, what is next? Are you interested in politics? Do you just want to take some time off and relax? Are you heading back into the classroom? What's next for Professor Bala?
Well, next is that I want to take a rest for the next 2 weeks. At least let me just rest. I want to wake up one morning. Nobody is calling me to complain of lack of light, lack of water. We need money for this, we need that. After that, I intend to go for my sabbatical. And after the sabbatical, well, for now, my intention is to come back to the classroom. Whatever happens in the future, I leave that to God.
Okay. Now, what advice do you have for students of this institution and young people generally who may want to have the dream of following your path as an academic?
I want to advise our students to say that getting admission into the university is already an honor and privilege that hundreds of thousands of other youth have.